Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Hey everyone, thank you all for tuning into Biz My Kids, the quarantine edition. My name is Nikki Watson, and I just want to let you know that our future is so bright. Why? You're about to see young scholars pour their heart out, want to know what does it take to be successful. They'll be interviewing today's business leaders to learn how to be tomorrow's business leaders. They will break down those communication barriers between different generations. Check them out.
Hello, welcome back to BMK, where we train the queens and kings of the future. Today we will be talking with Mr. J1, a Morehouse graduate.
Hi, Mr. J1. Thank you so much for being here today. My first question is, from one interviewer to another, what are some tips you have to make interviews go smoothly?
Research, and research. Know who you're interviewing. Find out as much as you can about that person. So one thing that I always do before I interview anybody is I look at old interviews that they've done. And that way I can learn what questions really excited them and which questions kind of turned them off. Finding out like if they're very responsive, if they're outgoing, or if the interview had to pull stuff out of them. So I kind of like to get a feel of the person who I'm interviewing and have interesting material to talk about. And then on top of that, I'll not only look at old interviews, I'll go to their social media pages and see if they've done anything interesting. So prime example, I interviewed an artist named Kid Ink a couple of days ago on Instagram Live. So I was going through his Instagram and I saw that he went to some sort of like lion petting zoo. So he was with one of the lions and the lion was like biting his shoe and stuff. And then he was feeding a bear. So I brought that up. We talked about that because I felt like that was something when I was looking at his past interviews, nobody had ever talked about. So I try to find those things. Of course, you're going to ask the questions that most people want to know, especially when you're dealing with artists. You're going to talk about the music because they definitely want to talk about that. But you also want to talk about some interesting content that maybe nobody else has covered. So researching your person, having an idea of how you want the conversation to flow, and on top of that, I would just say, have your plan, but be flexible too, because sometimes the person will just start talking and it'll take you off of your notes of where you want to go. So you could try to stick to your game plan, but if they're going somewhere else, you can like try to listen to what they're saying and flow with them. So hopefully that made sense.
Many people have kids or parents or even famous people that inspire them. So what is something that inspires you?
I guess making a goal, achieving that goal, and setting new goals for myself. I'm always challenging myself to do better and go to another level. So even when I get promoted or I get a new job or I get some sort of award, I'm thankful for it, but I don't become complacent. I think complacency, it can be your worst enemy sometimes. It's a difference between being content and being complacent. Being content is being happy with your situation. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm very happy and thankful for my situation. But being complacent is being basically saying like, I'm good here. I don't want to grow. And when you get to that point, like that's not a situation I feel comfortable in being in. That might be cool for some people, but I never want to be complacent or feel like that I'm not growing or I'm not learning or I'm not going to another level. So, but at the same time, you have to be careful because there's some people that's all they care about is, okay, I got to get this car, I got to get this house, and then I'll be happy. But you can't be like that either. So you got to find that balance.
Okay. For my last question is, what brought you to your career, and are you happy that it brought you there?
Yeah, so what actually brought me to my career, I've always been into music and entertainment and hip hop and urban music. What really brought me into it, I started out as a DJ when I was about 15 years old. And then after I graduated college, I kind of picked it back up because I needed money. And I didn't really have like a job that paid me the way I wanted to. So I started learning really how to DJ under one of my older frat brothers, and he taught me the skills that I needed to learn to grow. And I was just doing that like as kind of a side hustle just to get some extra money. But I was blessed enough that it ended up becoming my main hustle. And from there, I was fortunate enough to get on radio here in Atlanta. And then from radio, I just learned and got into management, got into being an on-air personality. And then after doing 12 years in radio, I got an opportunity to work in Pandora.
All right. Thank you so much for answering my questions. I'm going to hand it over to Brooke.
I'm going to give you a huge thank you for your time.
Of course.
And let's get into these questions. So my first question was about DJing. And I just want to know, what's something that you took from DJing and now use it in your career?
It's a great question. So DJing is really the foundation for what I do now. Basically, as a DJ, I'm putting together a playlist for a party. I'm playing the records in real time that people are listening to and partying to. So depending on what type of party I used to DJ or in type of environment, that would determine the music that I was playing. It's kind of the same thing with what I do now with Pandora and doing different playlists. So like I'll have a new hip hop playlist. So that's just basically all the new hip hop. So I'll do that. Then I might have a 90s playlist. So I'm putting on a bunch of 90s music. So one, it's helped me put together or curate songs, but at the same time, it's helped me get an appreciation and understanding those songs. So when I'm programming 2000s hip hop, it's not like I'm just programming it based off of what the research says. I'm programming it based off of my own experience and my knowledge of the music.
Okay, that was a great answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on. I want to move on to my next question and when I heard that you were working for Pandora, I was wondering, I wonder, has he the CEO of Pandora, and what was that first meeting like? Like, were you starstruck in? What was it like?
I haven't met the CEO, but I've met the chief content officer, who's like in that executive circle, and I've met the chief product officer. And you don't really get starstruck at this point. As long as you have that confidence and you know what you're doing and you have your answers together and you're straightforward, then there's really nothing to be like nervous about or anything like that or starstruck about. Because at the end of the day, they're people just like us, and a lot of times they need like our energy and our youth to help educate them. So it's a two-way street. Like I'm learning from people like them, but they're learning from people like me. And then, eventually it'll be someone like me learning from somebody like you. So, I don't really get starstruck. I just have my stuff together, do my research on the person, know what I'm talking about. And if I don't, if they ask me a question I don't know, rather than try to lie or finesse it, I just tell them like, I don't really have that information right now, but I'll find out about it. I'll get back to you on that.
So my next question is, can you walk me through an average day at Pandora?
Sure. I mean, no day really looks the same, but, usually what I'm doing is I'm listening to new songs, listening to new music. I'm jumping on meetings, whether it's with people on my team, different departments within the organization, record labels and stuff. I'm helping them put together events. Before all the pandemic started, I was meeting with artists a lot and doing interviews and doing content. But now, because we're all doing social distancing and working from home, most of my interviews now are on Instagram Live. And I'm actually busier now than I was even beforehand because, with the live events, a lot goes into it. You're working around the artist schedule and you don't know when they're going to be able to come in. So we weren't doing the live events every day. We do maybe about 2 to 3 a week. But because everybody's inside and the artists are kind of bored at this point, I've been getting a lot of requests. So now it's to the point I'm doing at least 1 or 2 every day. So I'm constantly looking up information and doing research and stuff. Just trying to make sure I'm on point for all these Instagram Live conversations.
To Mr. J1, a DJ and head coordinator of hip-hop at the Pandora radio station. We spoke today about how consistency isn't always the best thing in your life, and if you're stable where you are, you need to fix that because you should be able to soar higher than you are now. We also spoke about how artists are getting bored in their homes, and he's working even more during COVID-19.
All right, my well wish goes to my grandmother because she's a nurse and she goes to work, I think, every day. And she was in close contact with somebody that had the coronavirus, but luckily didn't get it. So I'm gonna give my well wishes to her so she doesn't get sick. And I also want to give well wishes to people to people that are supposed to be working outdoors and have outdoor jobs that cannot work that can no longer work because of the coronavirus. And that's it, yeah.
I want to give a well wish to all the people who are unable to eat because they were eating through their job or through school. And yeah, that's my well wish.
My well wish goes out to all the children that still have to do things outside of their house and are doing the self-quarantine because I feel like young children are at risk of getting corona.
So my well wish goes out to my fellow DJs out there because a lot of those guys aren't as fortunate as me. I really stopped kind of DJing these past couple of years. But a lot of these guys, because the clubs and all that stuff is shut down, they have no way to feed their families or get any income. And because most of the money that they get is through a club and it's cash and they're not on really anybody's payroll, or a lot of them don't have companies set up, they can't apply for unemployment benefits or partake in the stimulus package. So a lot of them are out there hurting. They're on Instagram Live DJing with their Cash App up, just trying to get some donations and make ends meet. So, my well wishes and prayers go out to a lot of the DJs and just people that work in the club and nightlife industry like that, the DJs, the waitresses, the bartenders. Again, they get overlooked a lot, but, they got families to feed too.
Thank you for watching Business Minds Kids, where we train the kings and queens of the future.